As we start off hour two, we got a lot of contest calls. Let's get everybody's opinions on it, and then we'll go into some other things. We'll start with Xavier in Tampa, and Xavier says hello. He's on Mad Dog Unleashed. Xavier, good afternoon. How are you today? What do you have for me?
Mad Dog, how you doing? I love your show, man.
All right, Xavier. Nice to talk to you. What's on your mind now? Fire away. What do you have for me?
Hey, so follow me real closely now. So I'm military, right? But I live in Tampa. But I'm from Philadelphia. I got a Philadelphia driver's license. So if you start talking about rules and stuff like that or whatever, I hope that,
That's going to hurt you because you have a reason why you're in Tampa, yet you're in the military. So, yeah, you're right. That is something that we would have to keep an eye on if we wanted to sort of be a little more careful about address, cell phone, and where they say they're calling from. So that's a good point, Xavier. Very good point. Go ahead. What else?
Yeah. And my second thing is, I'm not sure why you're not giving my Eagles a chance. I think we got the better overall team. I definitely think the Patriots have the better quarterback, but the Eagles have the best team. And that line has moved down to 4.5. What do you think about that?
Listen, I didn't say I'm not going to give the Eagles a chance. They remind me a lot of the 90 Giants, a team that lost Sims basically in the same week that the Eagles lost Wentz. They put Hostetler in there, and Hostetler, who everybody knew was got a chance to be a pretty good player, did a nice job. And obviously Foles, who everybody knew had ability, had sort of bounced around and really fell apart, but had ability previously with Chip Kelly, and away they go. There's some similarities. So the Giants had to beat San Francisco on the road, which the Eagles got the games at home, but I see a lot of similarities. Giants were a 7-point underdog to Buffalo. They hadn't won a Super Bowl, but they were a humongous team. They had beaten the Raiders in the AFC Championship game, 52-3, whatever the final was. So I see a lot of similarities with that team. And I tell you, the other thing about the Eagles that scares me, they're due to win one of these games. I mean, they really are due. This is their third shot at it. They haven't won a championship in 57 years. They've had some success. They're due to get everything in the right order and win one of these games. Mike in Tennessee, Mad Dog Unleashed. Hello, Michael. Nice to talk to you. How are you? Okay?
Chris, listen, this was a great contest. You guys have nothing to apologize for. It's a near impossible task to put one of these things together. I think it was terrific. But I do have a suggestion for you to weed out some of these previous winners, and that is when you're screening them, you ask them to identify whether they're a previous winner or not, and if they are, they get a separate set of questions. Maybe all audio, maybe 2 audio, something along those lines, and if you discover...
Not a bad idea.
If they duped you, then they get disqualified. You put the trip back into the mix. You can determine that pretty quickly.
That's fair. You can have a separate category for the quote-unquote professionals and not give them any questions and give them 4 impossible audios. You could do that. Now, they're going to find a way around that and say they didn't win the contest, and you're not going to get them all right, but that is not a bad point. You probably could get something along to make it harder for the second guy, for the two-time guy. Here's Robert, California. He's on Mad Dog Unleashed. Bob, good afternoon. How are you today?
Good afternoon, Dog. I've been listening to you since your station was created all the way back in 2008, and I know who your regular phone callers are. And I think for the contest, you hear pretty much the same voices that call in every single year. There has to be a way to screen these people better so more new people get a chance to actually play.
I think there's some truth to that. But remember, we did hour upon hour of this contest. There's not that many professionals out there. So you would get it. I'm sure there's plenty of new players, but it does seem like that, the same 20 or 30 guys call every year on it. I get that. I get your point.
Because I'm somebody, I never get a chance to call, but I listen all the time, so I know who your regular phone callers are. And every time you put one of these contests together, it's always the same people that call in every year, but you never hear them any other time of the year.
There is some truth to that. I mean, I do think that, Sean in Connecticut has been calling a little bit outside of the contest. He's bounced around and we've heard from him. But I know what you're saying. There is some truth to what you say there. Tom in Wisconsin is on Mad Dog Unleashed. Tommy, welcome. Your turn. How are you today?
Hey, I love the contest. But what really gets me all the time is your audios. If I were to ask you, is there a way that you could tell me where I could get these audios?
No, you can't get them anywhere, Tom. You can't get them because the audios are produced by us. We produce our own audio. We do the interviews, we come up with the theme, and we get the players, on to discuss this. I don't conduct the interview, but we get the audio from our own, labor. And, Bill called George Rogers. Bill called Lance Moore. Bill called Danny White. Bill called Terrence Mathis, and he called a couple others too, and he got them to, talk about those particular games. Now remember, these are all retirees, and finding them is not that easy. Finding guys who played 30 years ago in some game, it's not that easy. So we would like more audio. We only had 4 this year. We would like more, but finding them is not that easy. We knew the audio this year. We felt Lance Moore was going to be gettable. We knew Danny White was a big-time player for the Cowboys, so people might recognize his voice. George Rogers was he's a Heisman Award winner. He was out there for a long period of time. Mathis played in New York with the Jets. I mean, we knew that these audios were gettable. We knew that going in. This is not something we didn't know. The theme was caught on much quicker than I thought, but the audio was not, wasn't some obscure player from some obscure team who, is from Wyoming. So we knew that there was a chance that if they got enough listens at it, you were going to get a chance to figure out who these guys were. Here's Jimmy in Dallas, Texas. Jim, welcome. How are you today?
I'm good. So I'm calling you back not too long after I called you the first time today. So here's my suggestion. By the way, I listened, I think, literally to every hour of the contest, save maybe 15 minutes over the past few days. Really.
So you're on top of it. You got a good opinion. Go ahead. Let me hear.
Okay. But here's my suggestion. You ought to have people pre-register. Go to the website. Got to put information in. You guys verify it. Make sure it matches. And I'm sure there's some sort of technology, and one of the previous callers was talking about how you might give more difficult questions to pass.
Yeah, I like that one better. Listen, if you have to go through that process to weed out the winners, maybe you shouldn't do a contest. I mean, if we're going out there, we're going to go pre-register everybody, and we're going to make it harder for the guys who have won, Jim, and we're going to make sure that, we track down their cell phone with their address. I mean, is that what we're trying to do here, folks? Are we at the point now in 2018 America where a friendly little contest that was a novice idea when he walked into Sirius, we have sort of, we've kind of tweaked it into, we like to think of a good running machine, but we are at the point now that we have to pre-register the phone calls to make sure nobody's cheating. And if we're doing that, maybe it's time, I'll break down the Australian Open this week. I mean, if we're at that point, that's sad if we're at that point. I can understand the theme of maybe making repeat winners have to answer nothing but audio. I can get that. Maybe you can do a little something to make the former champion, have to work a little harder so the average person gets in. But boy, if we're at the point right now where, we have to basically we got to vet them for 3 days before they get a chance to participate. My gosh. Here is Jason in Saratoga Springs, New York. He says hello. Jay, good afternoon. How are you today?
Mad Dog, welcome back.
Thank you, Jason. Good afternoon. What's on your mind now?
Hey, and I did listen to you a few weeks ago about, coming up to Saratoga. Certainly one of the areas, if you ever want to go, Saratoga Race Course is pleasant. And, talking about the contest, a couple notes that I had, it was, two nights in a row I was actually on hold when the contest was won. So that was pretty tough to take. And, I was right there after getting through, and the contest ended to these, let's face it, these folks that have gone before, the professionals. But I always feel, again, going back to that Saratoga theme, there is a little bit about that track karma. The person drops a ticket in front of you, you give them the ticket. I see people take picnic tables from other people. Track karma comes back to get you. So I feel in this contest, Sirius and yourself and the team did nothing wrong. It really was deceitful of the audience people and the people that actually called in. And I'll tell you that I'm actually one of these folks that's probably a tweener. I'm not a novice, but not a professional. Over the years, I've gone over it. I've done spreadsheets. I've printed out the information. So I'm probably a good 2 to 3 question contestant.
Yeah, you're a good guy. That's a good way to look at it. You're a good 3 guy, and if you ever get lucky once, you could win it. That's a very well said. Very well said. Go ahead.
And right yesterday, I was sitting there on hold, and that damn John Madden question came up, and I had researched that just the day before. I was like, oh, I knew I was dead when you were going to the 4th question audio, and the guy won it. But again, Mad Dog Marquis, you in the studio there have nothing to be ashamed of. It's really, again, goes back to the thing you've touched upon, is the deceitfulness of the callers, and I do believe part of that track and/or karma.
Yeah, maybe. There's nothing. I think if you're at the point now where you really have to, spend weeks finding the right contestant, then it's gone too far. Huck in Missouri, who plays the contest, doesn't win, but calls a lot and is a good fan, and he's in the Midwest. He's got nothing to do with New York, so he's a good call. Go ahead, Huck. Let me hear your take. Fire away.
Listen, Chris, I hope you understand where I'm coming from. I'm one of your biggest fans, one of your most loyal guys. I listen every day. I don't call in every day. I try to only call in when I've got a decent take. I don't want to waste your time or sound like a fool or anything like that. So I try to do the best I can. But it bothers me that I've listened all week long and I've heard nothing but guys call in that I've never heard before, or guys that the last time I heard was during the contest last year. It bothers me that guys that don't support you, that don't listen, the only time they're going to call is if they think they can win something. But yet you've got your loyal guys who love you to pieces, can't get through. I didn't hear Hayden in Virginia, Eric in Long Island, Scott in Tampa, Tony in Dallas, Andy in Seattle. I never heard one of those guys call in and try this week. Maybe they don't want them win. Maybe they don't care. But I like to think that they can't get through. And, listen, I know you're trying to get new callers. You want new people. I get all that. But your loyal guys that call in, and you got to give them a shot. Listen, I know it's tough, but we love you. We support you all year long, not just during a contest. So, I'd like for you to at least keep that in mind next year and say, you know what, let's give our local guy, our loyal guys a chance.
Well, again, we're in a fine department too, because we do want winners, and sometimes these contests only can be won by the pros. So it's a very tricky line you're walking. That's a good call though by Huck. Here's Josh in New Rochelle. That's in New York. Josh, welcome. It's your turn. How are you today?
Hey, how are you? I just want to say, first of all, I'm a refugee.
Oh, good. Refugee. We love the refugees. Let's give him a little jingle there, Colin. Get off the hockey schedule. And here we go. We always play the refugee for the fans who are on a life raft in New York radio right now trying to find a home. Hopefully you found it here. Go ahead. Next.
Yeah, it's good. And, I would always listen once in a while to the contest when I used to do it. But this time I listened every day, and I got my kids involved, and we were doing the research, and we would try to guess the questions. And, it's really a lot of fun. And, we tried today to get through. It didn't happen. But, good job on the contest. And it's tough. It's tough to deal with these professionals. But I just want to say, to give you credit, and my kids enjoyed it, and it was challenging for us, even though we didn't get through. So
I tell you, kids do love it. My kids never listen to me at all. I got a couple of them who can't get enough of this contest. Here's Dwayne in Youngstown, Ohio. Dwayne, welcome. How are you today?
Great, dog. Hey, I'm fresh meat. I'm 2 weeks listening to you, man. I first heard of you on that 30 for 30, and I liked your style, like you say, better than that other cat you worked with, Mike. But I was new to the contest here, and I'm listening, and I find myself, I'm not smart enough to get anything right, but I find myself rooting for people. There was a police officer from Philly. I'm really rooting real hard for the guy, and I was fine with even the people winning and stuff. But this last guy, the last winner you got today, he burned a hole in my soul, dog, with the whole, where are you from? Oh, Minnesota, or, he's from Miami, he's from Minnesota, and then who's your team? You ask him who his team is, and he's like, I like Minnesota.
Yeah, a little shaky. What do you want us to do about it, Dwayne?
Oh, I know. There's nothing you can do, man. I just wanted to tell you.
We can't spend weeks. We don't have the manpower. We can't spend. This is not immigrants coming into the United States. We can't spend weeks vetting.
The same thing since grade school. Something good will get ruined by a couple bad apples.
You know what? Well said. Dwayne's a good call. Good to have him with us. 17 after the hour. We will continue here on Mad Dog Unlimited.